Laura, my pronouns are she, her, and I am the trainee at Limited. This week is really exciting. I'm travelling to Valencia in Spain and I'm meeting Kat Sheridan out there, Unlimited senior producer, as we'll be presenting at the Spanish National Conference for Art and Inclusion. But that is next week, and first of all I need to get there. I'm trying to do this trip as environmentally conscious as possible, so I'm travelling from the UK to Spain via train, and I will be travelling in my wheelchair, so seeing how accessible this is as well. Today's day one. We're on the first leg of the journey. We've left Leeds and we're on the train to London. Once we get to London, we'll be getting the Eurostar to Paris. I'm travelling with my friend Rose, who's here for support, and we'll be filming some of the trip, so we'll be seeing how this goes.
When we arrived at the Eurostar station, the lift wasn't working, so a member of staff came to take us the long way round to the platform. The staff were really helpful, showing us where to go. They had a big ramp and made sure that we were comfortable in the carriage. Annoyingly though, there wasn't an accessible toilet on board which was working. However, we made it safely to Paris.
So we've been trying to get a taxi this morning, but we haven't been able to get one so far, so we're gonna walk. That's okay, we've left enough time. The journey is like an hour or so to the station. It's currently 7:30. We're gonna make it happen, we're gonna get that train. But yeah, it's a lovely morning in Paris, we're not complaining.
Over time, this became really difficult and made me pretty fatigued, but at this point in the journey, it was possible for me, so we carried on.
We got to the station, we found the passenger assistance area, so we've got a little bit of time now. We've spoken to someone here and we'll come back just before our train. So feeling pretty good about the accent so far. It's gonna be okay.
Here, getting on the train from Paris was a little bit different. It was a double-decker and there was a rising platform between the two levels of the train. It was really cool to see the different things they had in place to make it step-free, and we had a big spacious area for this long train for this 7-hour journey. When we booked our trains for the whole trip, we made it clear that I was travelling in a chair and need assistance getting on and off the trains. It had proven to be really reliable, and when we arrived in Barcelona, we were shown a quick route out the station and into the sunny city.
Yeah, okay, so the place to go is unknown.
But
Maybe head back?
do we go back that way maybe? It's 5 a.m. We are leaving now to get the coach. We think it's going to be about an hour's journey. Again, couldn't really find a taxi firm that was reliable, so making our own way. Hopefully it's warm. It's still pitch black outside. So basically we booked an accessible seat. They have a ramp, but they don't have room for a wheelchair on board, so can't get on. Luckily a really lovely person in the queue came and translated for us, so we could understand what the coach driver was saying. We're not getting on this coach because there is no room for my chair. We did what we could with the booking. There's no one as well at the information desk, so we're just gonna have to go plan B.
So plan B meant that we needed to get the metro to the closest train station. The metro was clearly signposted for wheelchair users and had a clear priority system in place for lifts, which made it much more efficient for us.
So that train did just come, but it has like one door, kind of similar to trains used in the UK. One door was a wheelchair spot, which had a different ramp that came down, but that door was out of order. Loads of people were really lovely on the train and they all came off and tried to help me on, but I would really just rather have a ramp rather than be lifted on, so we are staying here for the moment and we're going to see if we can get on the next one.
We made it to the train station. Our plan was to speak to a member of staff as we weren't able to book a wheelchair space online. Luckily, there was last minute availability and we were able to get our tickets for later in the day, and we were finally on our way to Valencia.
So today is the day of the presentation. I'm at Teatro Rialto, the beautiful venue. We've checked in, we've got our passes, we've met some of the lovely team. We're really excited to be here and we're excited to get going and do our talk.
It was an old theatre, so there was lots of steps, but once we were in the space there was a big wide ramp built for the conference, and it's really great that it's now there for other people to be able to use in the future. Throughout the conference, Kat and I spoke about Unlimited, the work that we do as a commissioning programme, and the research we're doing about disabled artists being asked to do something for nothing. One of the audience members asked me a question about travelling for work as an artist and as a wheelchair user, and this was a great opportunity to share my experiences of this journey so far.
Double checking where the ramps are, where we can find things, plan Bs when we've needed them.
The intensity of the event and adrenaline post-talk made me pretty unwell and I was unable to work for the rest of the day. For day 6, we started our journey back to the UK. We got a taxi to the train station, and when our train arrived in Barcelona, we had assistance booked, but there wasn't anyone to meet us there, so Rose went to find someone to help me get off the train.
We just had breakfast in Barcelona. We did everything we could to check that the hotel and the breakfast was wheelchair accessible beforehand, online, when we got here in person and everything. All seemed fine. We directed to a side street, which I'm used to, but we got here and there's a big old step. We have a train to catch, so I do really not like being lifted in my chair, but it was kind of the only option at this point to get some food in before our long train. So that is what we did.
We got to the station and went straight to the assistance area where they helped us board the train. When we arrived in Paris, we got our pre-booked taxi to our hotel. For our last day of travel, we left Paris and headed home. We had 2 trains. First was the Eurostar Paris to London and the second was London to Leeds. During our changeover, it was really hectic and we didn't know if we were going to be able to get on the train.
There's no wheelchair in it at all. Yeah, so move people, come with me.
Thank you. So we've got to London, King's Cross, and we booked a wheelchair seat, but there's no wheelchair spaces, and they're saying we have to stand. Just trying to get on the train currently. It's very busy, like very, very busy. So we'll see.
I was too unwell to film anything after this, but we made it safely back to Leeds.
So we've got a quiet moment in the Eurostar lounge before we head back to London on our last day of travelling, and I thought it would be good to hear from Rose about her experience of this trip in terms of being my support worker and being there for me and kind of witnessing the journey with me. So what do you think surprised you the most about this trip in terms of access?
Okay. Well, I think everyone's willingness to help was amazing. I feel like me and you haven't experienced that as much in the UK, but there was a lot of letting us go to the front of a queue for a lift, or people really stuck to the priority spaces for buses, and it's just really made things just so much smoother for us, I think, hasn't it?
I agree, yeah, definitely. And what do you feel has been the biggest challenge?
I think we haven't been able to be that spontaneous. There's been a lot of like pre-planning, a lot of research that's gone into this, and also at the end of the day we are really putting our trust into like strangers and companies, and we've always had to be ready for some sort of plan B because you don't know how it's gonna go.
Yeah, trust is definitely a big one.
Yeah.
And then what if we were to do this trip again, what do you wish you knew, or what do you think we could have done differently?
I think we could have just just gone into it with a little bit more confidence, had a bit more faith in what we can do. And I just think, like, this is a new scenario. Like, you haven't gone very far in your wheelchair in terms of traveling, and me as a companion, like, this is new for the two of us.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're already planning on like where we can go next. Like, there are so many places we can go, and it's just been a really positive experience.
Yeah, it's been so exciting, and it's really cool to see like all the things that we've done on this trip in the past, like however many days, and all the things that we can do.
Yeah,
it's been really
amazing.
positive.
Yeah.